Hello everyone and welcome to the bowl season week 3 preview show. We've got a couple of big name teams taking part in some bowl games on Saturday with some big players that can make some key contributions that we'll be looking at. Before we jump on into the preview, do make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already so you don't miss any of our upcoming content. And stick around to the end of today's episode to find out how you can get involved in one of our videos coming up. Let's dive on in and take a look at what's in the box.
What's in the box?
Our bowl season preview box features our locally sourced but nationally relevant headlines for LSU, Missouri, and Penn State as they get ready to play on Saturday. We'll take a look at some players from those teams who could have big impacts in the games, and we'll finish it up by looking ahead at what's to come on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day when bowl season continues. We begin though by talking about the first of our 3 bowl games. The day is going to begin on Saturday with the Pinstripe Bowl coming to us from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. It's a noon Eastern time kick. Can't wait for this game. It's a great venue. Anytime you play a football game at Yankee Stadium, that's always fun. But then the teams and the talent profile between Penn State and Clemson, 2 teams who earlier on this year were both potentially vying for a shot at the playoffs. That's how it looked in the preseason for these 2 teams, and now they're meeting up in the Pinstripe Bowl. Safe to say that the season did not go as planned for either, but it should be a really fun game because there are great names on both sides of this game. Look at a guy like Gator Allen in the backfield for Penn State. You've also got a guy like Dennis Sutton going at it on the defensive side for the Nittany Lions, up against Cade Klubnik for Clemson. These are some big-time names, guys who are going to make big impacts at the NFL levels when their careers are over, and it'll be fun to see how they get on in this game. Penn State is the team that's favored to win at the moment. They played really well down the latter half of the stretch of the season this year, ending up being bowl eligible thanks to being able to rattle off a bunch of wins in a row. Meanwhile, Clemson, ups and down, topsy-turvy season for certain for what was at one time a playoff hopeful. We'll see who comes out on the winning end of this game, but it's a great way to kick off the day there on Saturday on ABC. Next up, we have the Gator Bowl. This is coming to us from Jacksonville, Florida, 7:30 Eastern Time kickoff. Also on ABC, featuring number 19, Virginia and Missouri. Interested in this game because I think it's going to be a struggle for Virginia to get up and get after Missouri. They're coming off a heartbreaking loss last time out against Duke in the ACC championship game. They were on the verge of a playoff burst. All they had to do was win that game and they would have been into the playoff. Instead, they lose in overtime to Duke. That allows JMU to backdoor their way into the playoff. Virginia has got to still be devastated from that loss. They have to be reeling, you would think. So I don't know how they're going to get up for this game against Missouri. And on the other side, Missouri has Ahmad Hardy, one of the best running backs in the country. They won't have Bo Perbula as he's announced his intent to transfer, and it sounds like he might be going back to Penn State. That's what the rumor mill has, but we'll see if that does come to fruition. Either way, with Matt Zollers at quarterback, Ahmad Hardy poured in amazing performances this season with or without Perbula. With Zollers in, without Zollers, didn't really matter for Ahmad Hardy as he racked up over 1,500 yards on the ground. I think Virginia's going to have a tough time slowing him down. Like I said, the will and the spirit, I don't know if it's really there for the Cavaliers. Maybe it is, and I'm wrong, and they come out and they show us why they are number 19 in the country in the final AP poll. But I like Missouri in this game, just purely based off the fact of Ahmad Hardy. I haven't even talked about the fact that Virginia can be a little bit turnover prone. They threw 10 interceptions this season, not a number that you like to see, especially in a conference like the ACC. Missouri has a really good defense, an outstanding rush defense, and they've been pretty good through the air as well. Haven't necessarily taken the ball away from teams too many times, but they're just a really good defense at limiting yards, really good on third down. I think that's going to cause some trouble for Virginia as well. I mean, this is a Missouri team that was nearly inside the top 15 at one point this season. These guys are really good, and I think that comes to display on Saturday night there in Jacksonville. So we'll see if I'm right or if I'm wrong, but the Gator Bowl is coming our way at 7:30 on Saturday night. Our last game of the night on Saturday featuring an ONIT team. Brace yourself for this one, East Coast folks. 9:15 kickoff in the Texas Bowl. LSU versus number 21 Houston. Yeah, it's going to be a late night if you are a fan of either of these teams and you live on the East Coast. Looking forward to this game, though, coming to us from NRG Stadium in Houston. It's an NFL game for some NFL talent. Both of these teams have amazing players on both sides, but LSU has been decimated by opt-outs. Mansour Delane, their star cornerback, he's getting ready for the NFL draft, as is Harold Perkins Jr. Two huge defensive stars are both preparing for the NFL draft rather than playing in this game for LSU. They'll also be without Garrett Nussmeier and Whit Weeks. So some of the biggest names for the LSU Tigers will not be on the field for the Tigers in their last game before Lane Kiffin takes over as head coach. Regardless of what happens in this game for LSU, there's got to be a lot of optimism. You're getting Lane Kiffin in there, trying to turn around what was a really poor, by their standards, season this year. You had the head coach dismissal in the middle of the season. But for LSU, all of that can be righted very easily, no matter what happens. They do have a Houston team that played very well this season, but had some major stumbling points, especially when you look at that loss against West Virginia. That really derailed the momentum that Houston had going for them late in the season, and then tripped up 2 other times as well did the Cougars. This will be a fun game once again. I mean, all these bowl games are fun, obviously, but at NRG, NFL Stadium, NFL talent, LSU trying to piece together what they can to get a win, salvage their season, and then ring in the new era with Lane Kiffin taking the reins after this one is over. 9:15 kick on ESPN. They're from Houston. That is Eastern time, and we will be watching closely. Next, let's talk about some players that we're going to be watching closely this weekend. We think they could have big games. Slab Watch is coming up. This is Slab Watch. We're looking at some players who might have big impacts for their team on Saturday, beginning with the Missouri Tigers as they go up against Virginia in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl. We're starting off on the defensive side because we love NIL for all here at ONIT. And for our Missouri defensive pick, let's talk about Dalen Carnell. He's got an interception and 4 pass deflections this year for the Tigers. They play a Virginia team that has been prone to turning the ball over this season. Virginia likes to take some shots and try to make some big plays happen. Carnell is the last line of defense as a safety for Missouri. Could get in there and create some havoc with some takeaways, get the ball back for Missouri, and set up the Tigers for success on offense. So if he can find a way to take some passes away or even just end some drives with big-time pass deflections, Dalen Carnell could end up making the grade for us this week, and that is why he is on Slab Watch. His teammate in the backfield, Ahmad Hardy, is on Slab Watch this week. Ahmad Hardy has had a great season. I don't think I really need to tell you about how amazing he's been this season. 1,560 rushing yards this year, came in second in the NCAA, finished with 16 touchdowns as well on the ground and 6.5 yards per carry. Those are numbers that are impressive to consider regardless of the situation. It's even more impressive for Hardy considering the fact that his starting quarterback, Bo Prabula, went out with an injury during the year and he missed multiple games, and Ahmad Hardy still found ways to get it done on the ground for Missouri. As he goes up against this Virginia defense, Hardy will be looking for running room, especially considering Prabula has announced his intent to transfer and will not be with the Tigers for this bowl game. So it'll be on the shoulders and the legs of Ahmad Hardy if Missouri wants to finish their season with a bowl victory, and that's why he is on Slab Watch for this week. Moving on to Penn State. We'll go back to the defensive side as they get ready for the Pinstripe Bowl against Clemson. We'll talk about Dennis Sutton. What an impact player he has been on the defensive line this season for Penn State with 38 tackles, 6.5 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles. His job is going to be get after the Tigers. Cade Klubnik could be back there for Clemson, still awaiting final word on that. But regardless of who the quarterback is or who tries to run towards Dennis Sutton, he is going to be on his best. He's a player that is going off to the NFL more than likely next year. He's a great player. Would be shocked if he doesn't get drafted. And he has the opportunity to make big plays for Penn State on the defensive side of the ball, which is why he is on Slab Watch this week. On the other side for Penn State, Katron Allen will be lining up in the backfield without Nicholas Singleton. That means Katron Allen may get the lion's share of the carries, and when he's gotten the ball this season, he has impressed. 1,303 yards on the ground and 15 touchdowns. Just a few shades behind Ahmad Hardy in what he was able to do on the ground this year, but he's been splitting time with Nicholas Singleton. Singleton has opted out for the Pinstripe Bowl, and Allen this year might be able to put a hurting on Clemson. Clemson's defense this year has really been shaky, and Katron Allen has been fantastic. He's busted off multiple big runs against top-tier competition, and we could see him do that again in this Pinstripe Bowl, which is why we're putting him on Slab Watch for this game. Lastly, we're going to take a look at LSU's Xavier Thomas. Yes, the senior from Louisiana is on Slab Watch. LSU has had a ton of opt-outs for their bowl game against Houston as they go into the Texas Bowl. And Xavier Thomas might be called on the offense there to step up in some of these absences. He averaged 14.4 yards per catch against AP top 25 teams this year and also scored 2 touchdowns as they get a Houston team who finished the year ranked number 21 in the AP poll. Thomas is going to have to step up if the LSU passing attack wants to be firing on all cylinders against this Houston team that suffered some stumbles through the air in their 3 losses this season. That's where Thomas could come in, make some big plays for LSU, and that is why he is on Slab Watch for this week. Let us know if you have anybody you think should be on Slab Watch going into these games. But now let's take a look ahead at what's coming up for the rest of bowl season. This is the bowl season look ahead. Not a lot of games remaining for our non-college football playoff teams as we come to the conclusion of the college football season. Crazy that it's almost already here, but these are the final bowl games that we have left on tap for our ONIT schools. We've talked about the ones that will be taking place on Saturday. Tennessee versus Illinois, USC versus TCU, Arizona State versus Duke, Nebraska versus Utah, Michigan versus Texas are the final bowl games that we have for our ONIT schools. And then we have 3 participants left in the college football playoff. Miami versus Ohio State, Alabama versus Indiana. Those games are happening on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Hoping to see Ohio State advance into the semifinals. And unfortunately for Alabama and Indiana, one of them is going to go home, but one of them will be into the semifinal to take on either Oregon or Texas Tech. Looking forward to all of these games coming up, and we hope you are too. If you enjoyed the video, please do subscribe because we'll be covering college football until the conclusion of the season. At least we'll be going all the way through the college football playoff and the national championship game with previews and recaps. So do make sure you're tuned into those. And if you're a fan of basketball, softball, baseball, any of the winter or spring sports, we'll have those being covered on this channel as well as they begin their seasons or get closer to their tournaments, much like we did with volleyball. So if you love college sports, this is the place to be. If you love collegiate trading cards, this is also the place to be. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please do subscribe and like it if you enjoyed it, and we'll see you back here. We're going to be back on Tuesday with a recap and preview video, the games that happened over the weekend and the games that are taking place midweek for the holidays. Hope you have a happy holiday season. Enjoy your Christmas if you celebrate Christmas, and we will see you very shortly. Have a good one, everyone, and thanks for watching.